على آله وصحبه أجمعين. يروي الإمام البخاري في صحيحه عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال ليس الغنى عن كثرة العرض ولكن الغنى غنى النفس. So we're still in our collection of ahadith collected by Imam Ad-Dihlawi, the famous Indian scholar. And in his collection, the wording is actually al-ghina ghina nafs, but I wanted to narrate the one in Bukhari just for the chain, the authenticity of it. But it's basically it's the same meaning. So the hadith goes as the following: ليس الغنى عن كثرة العرض. So wealth is not by having wealth is not measured, or it doesn't mean having a lot of possessions. That's not what it means, having a lot of physical possessions. But rather, true wealth is the wealth of the soul, or the richness of the soul. And so the hadith starts, it's very interesting that it starts with laysa, a negation right off the bat. And this means, like, and subhanAllah, that shows us that the mainstream or normative understanding of wealth, that it's associated with physical, tangible things that we see, like possessions, real estate, land, money. And because that's how our understanding of wealth, it's easy to measure, it's easy to put on balance sheets, on financial statements, and we can place ourselves in a socioeconomic status, and we're able to compare, fulan against fulan, and who has more money, and so on and so forth. And that's how most people understand wealth. But here the Prophet ﷺ is saying that ليس الغنى, wealth is not based on your understanding of wealth. It's not just the money, the assets, the real estate, the land. ولكن الغنى, but true wealth is the richness or the wealth of the soul, the richness of the soul. And so here, what is the richness of the soul, or what is the wealth of the soul? Yani the ghina nafs, what is that really? So scholars have different interpretations of what that means, and all of them are like complementary to each other. And the first one, it could mean being satisfied with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed to you or has allocated to you in rizq, because everyone's rizq is allocated in precision, and it won't increase or decrease. And this is for everyone just before even their birth. And so having that knowledge and being content with whatever rizq comes your way, and knowing that it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're always at peace, you're always content, you're always relaxed, and you're not attached to the money or the assets that you have, and whether it increases or decreases, you know that's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so you're at calm, you're at peace. And that's ghina nafs, that gives you that internal satisfaction. Whereas someone who doesn't have that understanding, and they're so attached to their stocks and to their investments and to their investments and all that, and it crashes one day, and then that's it, they crash with it. They crash with the stock market, or they crash with the real estate, wherever it is. And so this is not enough. This is like in fact, they're dependent upon something that's very versatile and has the potential to fall at any time. And then the second meaning for ghina nafs is for someone to live a life of virtue, to seek the virtuous characters, and to get rid of the blameworthy traits of the human beings, because the human being has potential of being a good person, or to purify their souls, or has the potential to corrupt it. قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. This is the conclusion, and so this is a conclusion that even philosophers, even before Islam, some of them arrived at that conclusion, like living a life of virtue. This is what life is about, and so on and so forth. And we know that this is one of the things as in tazkiyah, like you work on yourself, getting rid of the bad of the vices, and inculcating the good habits and good characters. And then the third interpretation is very interesting, is that ghina nafs is the person who spends their life in seeking knowledge, and they're just knowing the world for what it is, and understanding the world, understanding different fields, different subjects, and that gives them internal satisfaction. That gives them an understanding that gives them a lot of insight to the world that other people don't have, because they don't seek knowledge, and they're satisfied with the food and drink and shelter that they have, and so they're impoverished by just living to these basic standards. And if we look at our history, many of our Islamic scholars, like Ibn Jarir al-Tabari or al-Suyuti or al-Dhahabi, they spend their lives seeking knowledge, and they describe that there's so much joy in doing so. Like in our time, subhanAllah, seeking knowledge is just a means of, getting a degree and then getting a job. And then outside of that, forget about seeking knowledge. But like the paradigm from an Islamic perspective is much different. You seek knowledge and you expand your horizons and you learn different fields. It doesn't have to just be one field. You could learn from different fields and different subjects. And there's so much joy in the concept of ma'rifah, of understanding, of knowing, of learning. And that's something, that's what differentiates humans from other animals and from other species, that we're able to learn and conceptualize and build upon concepts day after day. And that gives you a lot of internal satisfaction, and there's a lot of joy in doing so, in doing that. And so these are like three different interpretation and complementary things. We all can take something from it. And the hadith is very small, very short, but it's very deep in its meaning. And if someone internalizes it, then they'll gain a lot in their life. And I hope this was beneficial for you. يروي الإمام البخاري في صحيحه عن أبي هريرة عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: ليس الغنى عن كثرة العرض ولكن الغنى غنى النفس. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك